That hurts my brain.
Okay, so let's look at these. It's not too crazy. It looks crazy. But it isn't. Alright, so these we're doing tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. I know you did the opposite of what happened. Okay. So let's look. Alright, so it's kind of, some of these are a blast from the past. So lines can be, so let's make sure our phones are away. So lines can be, what type of lines are these right here? Parallel. How do we know they're parallel? They're not intersecting. So let's draw our little arrows on there. So parallel. Alright, what's the symbol for parallel? Anybody remember? It's actually still on the board.
It's those
Little things.
little ones.
Yeah, so this means parallel, right? And parallel means
They're in a line. They can't cut.
they don't touch each other. They don't intersect. Don't intersect. Okay. Now, these are just plain old intersecting lines. So lines can be parallel, they can be intersecting. Okay? I want you to emphasize that point because lines intersect at one point and one point only. All right, what is this next one? Perpendicular, awesome. What does perpendicular mean? Intersects at a 90-degree angle or right angle, awesome. So perpendicular. All right, so perpendicular means intersect at 90 degrees. All right, so these three happen all on the same plane. Okay, we'll talk about a plane in a second. The last one's skew, which we'll talk about in a second. Skew can only happen in 3D, okay? But we'll talk about it in a second when we get to talking about planes. All right, so a plane, what is that? Are we talking about an airplane? You're talking about a what? Now it's time. All right, so a plane is like this piece of paper, okay? There's no height to it, okay? Just kind of floating around in geometry world, like, woo, okay? So this would be a plane. All right, now if you have planes that don't intersect, what would you call those? Yeah, parallel planes. So planes can also be parallel. So they never intersect. All right, can we think of planes that don't intersect in our real lives? Think of a plane, not an airplane. Do we see any planes around us? Okay. Awesome. So the walls, right? Walls and ceilings. We can think of those as a plane, right? So my floor would be parallel to which plane? The ceiling. Right. So we don't want our floors and ceilings to intersect, right? That'd be weird. Okay? You'd be like, you'd just be scrunched in a corner. Okay? This wall here would be parallel to which wall in this room? That one back there. are parallel. Okay, they're just kind of like. All right. So planes can be parallel. All right. Planes can also be. What is this? What do we see here?
Intersecting.
They are intersecting, but look at how these are intersecting. What is this little? Look at these boxes. What do those boxes mean? 90 degrees, right. So planes can also be perpendicular. So if I look, that could be where these two walls meet. Okay, these two meet at a 90-degree angle. So normally when you're like getting the corner, okay, you're meeting at two perpendicular planes. Okay? This wall is also perpendicular to the floor, right? So this wall is perpendicular to the floor. It's also perpendicular to the ceiling. They meet at a 90-degree angle. Okay? So we have perpendicular planes holding up our building, okay, so that we can meet here and learn all about awesome geometry stuff. All right. Now, Hunter, you said this earlier. So what are these last planes doing?
Oh, intersecting.
They're just plain old intersecting. Nothing special about their intersection. Okay? So they just plain old intersect. They don't intersect at a 90-degree angle. They're just like boring, okay? So that's like if I have these two pieces of paper, all right, and they just kind of cross at an X. I normally have just note cards, so it's easier to manage. All right, there we go. Okay, so they just kind of intersect. All right, so this would be an example of two planes intersecting. All right, they intersect at a single line, which we'll talk about over here. Okay, so planes intersect at a single line. All right, and then lines intersect at a single point. So let's put a bunch of planes together. So this would be like if we had planes put together. So if we have here, I have this purple plane here. Okay. Now if you look at this purple plane and this green plane, their intersection, which we'll get to later, is called an edge. Okay. But don't think about that to the end of geometry. So this edge or this line is their intersection. Okay? This line is their intersection. Do you see how they intersect at an entire line and not just a single point? Do you see this line? Edge. Okay? So when we ask for the intersection of two planes, you have to give a line because it's an entire set of points. Okay? It's a line. Right? Now, when I have two lines intersect, they intersect at a teeny tiny point. Okay, so two lines will intersect at a point. So that point there. Okay? So earlier I was talking about how parallel and perpendicular lines are on the same plane, right? So when I'm talking about parallel lines, I'm talking about I can have parallel lines, but they have to be on the same plane. You can't see that. Okay? Oh, I did press record. Good. Okay, or if I have perpendicular lines, right, I can have some on the edge here. Okay, I can also have perpendicular lines up here. They don't have to be on the edge, but they can be. And I can have intersecting lines. Okay, so when I'm discussing these, I'm talking about them on the same plane. Now, we can have lines that don't intersect and they're also not on the same plane. So, I don't have an eraser. Is it over there? Yeah, it's right here. Alright, so let me erase these. So, this one is called skew. So, they're not on the same plane and they're going, they'll never intersect. So, if I look at this line here, a skew line, I cannot touch this plane and it has to be going in different directions. So, that would be like this line here. Okay? I don't know if you can see that well. Okay, so here's the original line, and a line skew to that would be here. Okay, do you see that if I drew this line forever and this one forever, how they would not touch? Okay, but we can't call that parallel because they're not on the same plane. Alright, so this line here and this line would be skewed. So if I have this line going forever this way, and this one going up this way. Do you see if my fingers extended forever like a weirdo, how those would never touch? Okay? So, I call this the skew dance. It's awesome. Okay, so you have a line going up and down. So go ahead, do your arm like this. You got it. Up and down. Alright, now the other one, so make sure it's going straight up and down. Okay? Now the other one is going like this. Yeah! Alright, the skew dance, alright? You're going to see it at prom. I have done this at prom. They said, let's get out here and do the skew dance. So I came out there and okay, and they did it with me. I wasn't by myself. Okay? So skew. Do it one more time. Skew. One more time. It'll help you out. I see people every year taking the test and it says which line is skewed to this, and they go. And they're like, alright, so this is an example of skew lines. They're not on the same plane. Okay, and they're going. It's kind of like when you have to like pat your head.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And you can't like switch it, right? I can't do it. Okay, so same idea. Or where you have your fingers and you try to go the opposite way in a circle. Oh, no, they're going the same way. Same way. There they are. They have to go opposite way.
Oh, my brain doesn't work like that.
So what you're doing, you go like this and then immediately you're doing this. Oh, there it was. There it was. Okay.
Oh, my brain
You're going
doesn't.
the same way.
My brain doesn't work that way.
I've had a lot of practice. It's harder for me to go this way. Oh. But yeah, this way my brain's good at. What did you learn in geometry today? Oh, I learned how to put my fingers in a circle, and I learned the skew dance.
Oh, I can't do it. My brain doesn't. Nope. I feel really dumb right now.
All right, so skew. We got the skew dance. Okay, so skew can only be in 3D, only in 3 dimensions. Okay, so they don't intersect. And they're on different planes. Okay, so make sure you try to, this is where like highlighters and stuff would come in handy. So if I had line BD, we'll wait for them, but thank you. Okay, so BD, remember I had to choose a different plane and a line that's going in a different direction. So I'm going to choose EA. So line EA. There are many examples on here. This is just one of them. Okay, so EA. Okay, EA is skew to BD. All right, so let's talk about how to name a plane. All right, so, and draw one. So we're going to draw our own little plane over here. Name a plane. How do you do that? So we're going to draw a plane, and we're going to make it look like that. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is just tearing people down for no reason over there.
You gotta hate it.
Alright, so there's a plane. So you can name it by a fancy letter in the corner. So that can be plane P. But P is not a point on there. Okay? If it's just in the corner and it's like it has a fancy cursive look to it, then that is just plain P. Now, the other way is to name 3 non-collinear points. Whoa. That's a lot going on. What does that mean? So let's write A, B, C. Alright. So let's figure out what collinear means, and then maybe we can figure out what non-collinear means. Alright. So collinear. So co and line. So we have point, or 3 or more points. Not points. Points. On the same line. Right? So we see co, right? Like co-teacher. It's 2 people. Or you're doing the same class. Don't use 2 people. But you're in the same class, right? Collinear means that you're on the same line. But it has to be 3, okay? And so there are many examples on this page. I'm just going to choose one. So S, Q, and V are collinear. So S, Q, and V are collinear. You have to have 3 or more. You cannot say S and Q. Because technically, all 2 points have a line through them. So it has to be 3 or more points. Alright, if collinear means on the same line, what do you think coplanar means? On the same plane. So points, lines, line segments. We're just going to put lines, and then angles on the same plane. So any of those. So if I look here, F, D, and A are coplanar. There are many more examples, but F, D, and A are, and we'll say G as well, and G, if you add to the beginning, are coplanar. All right, so let's think about it. 3 or more points on the same line means collinear. So to name a plane, I have to have 3 non-collinear points. So what does that mean? Collinear means on the same line. So what does non-collinear mean? Not on the line, not on the same line. So name by 3 non-collinear points. Okay, that means points not on the same line. So this is also called plane ABC. So that means that if I tried to draw one path between all 3 points, you could not make a straight line. So if you look, if I try to do one path between all 3 points, I cannot. Okay? So if B were here in the middle, then I would be able to draw a single line, which would not be a plane. All right. We have 5 minutes left. So we'll just leave it there. No homework tonight? Yeah. All right, no homework tonight. Those are your notes. Keep them for tomorrow. We're going to finish them tomorrow. Well, some of us are already starting to miss a lot of work. Oh, memorized grades. I have about 75 students. I can't memorize it all.